Hello, Doc here for the ReadySetCrypto Premium Newsletter Market Update for Wednesday, December 5th. All right, most of the crypto market in the top 20 here is still in the grip of the corrective pattern that we've been talking about for a while. Let's go through these and see if anything is running counter to this. One of these is Tron. So Tron is showing a really good base building here. So what we're seeing is the kind of base that I'm talking about here is putting in a real strong foundation in this area. And this is typical to what we see before bear markets start to trend higher, is that we'll see the, just the capitulation here. We'll see the destruction in asset value and then the basing level for an extended period of time in here. And really what this ends up doing is just kind of winding up the spring, coiling up the spring for this thing ready to go. Now we can see this somewhat on the daily chart in terms of the amount of energy, but it's really best if we step back a little bit. We go out to a weekly chart, step back and look at this, and we can see that all these weeks, so a primary downtrend ran into this consolidation pattern down here. So support has really kicked in on this particular coin. And what we're seeing also from this is just through the chop index, we're seeing a massive amount of weekly energy showing up. So you can see that if the price starts to break above this level there, that's putting in a higher low, higher high. We're starting to get into a weekly swing. So can we look to take advantage of this? Because if this does break above, and let's see, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is what, 40 Satoshis. No, wait a minute, that's 400 Satoshis, sorry. So if we break above that level, then we're going to perhaps see this thing really bust a move to the next level. This could be very, very strong type of breakout. So just to give a sense of cost to this coin at 400 Satoshis, this is about 1.4 cents versus the US dollar. Back to the daily chart, if we kind of zoom in on this, we can see this a little bit better here. So again, right around 400, I think is anything in this area. If we get above, I guess that's about 392, this would be a viable breakout. I'd like to see a little bit more daily energy, but quite honestly, that weekly energy level, as well as the pretty decent volume down here, shows me that this may be printing a higher low, and we'll see whether or not we get a higher high. So let's go ahead and put in an alert up here. I'm going to add an alert to tell myself long TRX. And this is part of our portfolio, right? So this is our managed crypto fund portfolio. This is a 4% holding. So if this does break above there, I'm willing to put 2% into this position and then just not worry about it. Otherwise, if this does not print a higher high or is unable to get above that level, then this is just going to be another lower high in the weekly chart rolling over and, same as it ever was. Now, we added a position into NEM a week or two ago, and this one's actually still doing pretty well. The big star today in the big coins is Binance Coin. So Binance Coin, after being just DOA for quite some time, is really picking up a bid right now. Must be finding some utility for this market or exchange specific coin, and has tacked on quite a bit of value over the last couple of days. So obviously we can't chase after this one with this level of exhaustion. We need to let this flag out for a period of time, and we may put this one. We do have a holding. We do have a desired holding in Binance Coin. I believe it's also about 4%. So we'll look for a 2% position if it's able to keep up this uptrend and consolidate appropriately. Now, what I've done is I've moved over to the swing trade portfolio. There's a couple of these that we just have to clean out. This is one of them. This is Metaverse, and Metaverse has just been slammed over the last few weeks, and it's time to take this one off. So these are not trades that we want. We're not going to be looking at this one anytime soon. There's a tremendous amount of technical damage done to this one. Chainlink, I believe, is in, so for those Elliott waivers of you out there, which I'm not particularly fond of the overall implementation of Elliott Wave, but I do like the whole notion of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pattern plus an ABC correction. This, to me, looks like an ABC correction. So there's A, B, and then is this C? So what I don't want to see is I don't want to see the price undercut this level. So if that happens, then we have definite transition to the downside. But right now it looks like it's consolidating. Certainly is consolidating on the daily chart. Let's go over to the weekly chart. Take a look at this. And this is kind of doing exactly what it needs to do after a really strong move here. It's in consolidation on the weekly chart. So this is what we're going to expect to see, perhaps until this builds up a little bit more energy. But there's no law that says that this has to wait for a full tank before it leaves the station. So if this thing puts in, I mean, everybody right now is just after 5 days in a row is expecting this to continue going down. So it's building up short interest. If this thing is able to stop, reverse, and start printing higher candles higher than like today's range, this thing could put in a higher low and reverse very strongly to the upside. Kind of looking for this one to get somewhere. This is the one that we talked about yesterday, Worldwide Asset Exchange. I want to see this build above this price. I want to see this continue to build on the gains instead of just consolidate. Otherwise, this will be another lower high and roll over again. Perhaps this is also in that same ABC pattern. That is a larger time frame corrective. I tell you what, this is the rock star in crypto right now, which is Factom. Apparently, they are booking revenues and they are full steam ahead. So this is one of these coins that's actually out there in production, booking revenue, and has an actual business use case. Okay, came out of nowhere. So keep your eyes on this one. Right now, this is starting to, so Factom right now is already a $15 coin versus the USD, adding anywhere from 10 to 20% a day lately in value. So this one is going into runaway mode. There's just no way that I'm going to chase after this one. This is showing actually the typical parabolic S-curve. So typically what you see in an S-curve is that start off real strong off the bottom and then it gets kind of thick in the middle. And you can see this, the evidence of this, by at least it built up some energy in this area, right? So it did get kind of choppy in the middle here, but now it's pulled into a nearly infinite slope to the upside. So this is a very, very common S-curve. This is where people are chasing after it, saying, wait a minute, wait for me. And people are in pain now buying. They're in so much pain sitting on the sidelines watching this one run away that they can't take it anymore. And they're chasing after that, which is pushing the asset prices higher anyway. So we simply have to wait for this one to consolidate, flag out, do all that other stuff, right? So this one is just gone beyond my expectations. I mean, this one was in exhaustion right off the bat. This shows you also, and look, I'll be honest with you guys, just because some indicator shows up on some guy's chart doesn't mean that the price has to stop. All we're looking for is a probability that we can look for. Typically when we see a chart go into exhaustion, the probabilities do favor at least some type of a consolidation. Then there's a supply-demand imbalance. That's all you can say. An imbalance where all of a sudden people say, whoa, these guys are booking revenue? And all of a sudden word gets out that they've got a hot project that's out there. And no study will adequately prepare you unless you just see something like going on right now and you just hop on board. That's the only way that you can trade these. And I typically do not do that. If something is that hot, I will wait for it. If it's that strong of a coin, what gets to 15 can get to 150 or 1500. So I'm never going to panic and buy. There's always the right time to get onto something. And oh, by the way, it rarely feels good when that actual entry signal does come. Usually it's at a time where nobody else is buying it, and there's your opportunity. Here's another one that's doing well, QSH. This one is smoking, right? So this is a big consolidation up here, and it's breaking out above there. See if we have anything on the weekly chart. Yep. So the weekly chart, this is something very similar to what we talked about with Tron. Kind of a similar pattern. That primary downtrend all of a sudden bases out, boom. A lot of energy here on the weekly chart. So this is a nice pattern, really nice pattern. So this is actually a valid entry right now on this coin. We've got some other ones that are just blowing up. We brought up this one yesterday, Waves. So obviously Waves, we can't chase after this one, but it goes on our list and we look for ways to get on board if in fact it is truly changing, right? So here is another one, Flow. We brought this one up. I don't see any real reason to get on this one. And then here's another one that's kind of blown up. So we are seeing coins that are getting some real demand, real accumulation of these. And it's just a matter of if they're truly fundamentally strong like this, where we have a true supply-demand imbalance and not just a pump, but like Factum as a true supply-demand imbalance that is worthy of our investing dollar or Bitcoin, then we'll simply put them on the swing trade list and wait for the right entry. Here's one that came up today, which is gold coin. So obviously big move here on gold coin into exhaustion. Is this going to base out or is this just going to be a pump and dump, right? So if it's just a pump and dump, we'll see this thing fly up here and then come straight back down. So guys, there are still opportunities in this market. We just have to be very patient. We have to be picky. We have to wait for our entry. And that's really what it comes down to in this, is you got to wait for the trade to come to you. That is it for tonight's report. Thanks for listening, folks. We'll see you tomorrow.